Action. Look at this. Look at us. What? 6 months later, Peter Moran. How are you? You guys obviously recognize Peter from episode, I believe it was 142, was Au Revoir.
Wow, 142.
Yeah,
what episode are we on right now?
We are on 194.
Damn.
Yeah. So about 6 months. Right?
Yeah, you've been getting after it. So
Yeah,
that's
dude.
2 a week?
Yeah. So initially, Peter and I were actually, we got on our freaking grind. We were doing 3 days a week.
3 a week.
So like, I think also 1 day a week we were doing like Zoom stuff.
That's true.
Right. But I mean, it was still flowing, dude, and just doing our best to pump out 30-minute episodes 3 times a week. So it was a good amount of content, dude.
Lot of content, because I came out on 69. So if you said 142, we banged out like 70-something episodes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. And I think the thing is, like, during the pandemic, like, we were just kind of motivated for the most part since we weren't going out doing stand-up. We were just like, all right, let's get on the air, spit some funny jokes. If we can be funny, you know, when it's live, that's great. It's always positive.
Yeah. Things are different now. You're producing a lot of shows.
Yes, man, I am.
Yeah.
So like the past 6 months for both of us, dude, it's actually been crazy. It's been amazing to see, you know, how far you've come. You're doing your own mic, and also I see you are on shows, you know, a couple times a week or whatever it is. But just getting back in the mix has been fun, man. Yeah, and I think like it was so different from the 6 months before that. You know, like this whole year. I guess this last year, like when, do you remember when exactly you came on?
It was pretty much exactly a year. I was looking, I was making sure I had the right apartment number. Yeah. And I saw a text from you on November 28th. So yeah.
Wow.
Just over a year ago.
Okay.
Was
That's
when I
also good to know you've never like cleared our combo.
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Just get your fucking dick. Clear it.
Get rid of what's this 212 number? Oh, must be rich.
212, literally. Call it from a landline, dude. But guys, Peter, look at his hair. It looks great. This is like the hair I had for a little bit.
I know.
And you know what you
Full
told
circle,
me?
baby.
You were like, you got to keep the long hair for the summer, the sexy summer flow. Yeah. So are you going to let it grow till summer?
I'm letting it ride. I'll tell you this, though. I saw you posted a little summer action of you recently. You looking good. The body was looking
that. Thank you, bro.
tight.
The ladies are liking it, bro.
Oh,
finally,
good,
after
good,
all
finally.
these fucking years of just impressing dudes, finally I get some compliments.
That's
from some chicks,
a good
dude.
that's a good body for being a heterosexual male.
Sure,
you had a pretty gay body for a long period of time, but now,
bro, the thing is, it's so hard to balance the being lean and being muscular.
Yeah,
I think for right now, I have the kind of trick down, but it's day by day. It's 48 hours by 72 hours, and I think the trick is like a little less cardio and lower. Or tighten your metabolic eating window.
Like not intermittent fasting, but narrowing it down.
Sure. Which is almost a step ahead, I'd say, of intermittent fasting. Because intermittent fasting, you can say like, oh, I'm going to eat in an 8-hour window. I'm going to eat in a 7-hour window. But what I'm kind of doing now is I will just like basically eat whatever the hell I want in like a 3-hour window or 4 hours. Just I can really eat whatever I want because I'm not like, being vegan,
you're vegan,
of course. But the thing is like, I went to the gym earlier, had a great sesh around like right before you came, so probably around like 12 o'clock, nice. which is not like
that's
my
not
style,
you changed,
bro.
You're a different man.
So like getting sleep, eating when I'm actually really hungry. I haven't eaten yet after the gym still, so I'm not like forcing down a protein shake or something like that. I'm letting my body get rid of these freaking toxins that have maybe been in there.
Get out of here.
You know, and then just trying to use my body fat more than the glucose in food.
Nice, dude.
So that's where I'm at.
I'm more of a like, is my shirt going to come off? I'm going to bang out a few push-ups and just like look good for the next 30 minutes. Those are my windows, pump windows.
Yeah, but you go to the gym.
Oh yeah, we're still in there. We're still, banging out like the bro workouts.
Okay.
Still staying consistent, hitting the biceps, hitting the bench, feeling good about myself. Had a little bit of a yoga kick, probably get deeper into that. But I have
a hat.
Right. I can't be a poser out here. I earned this. I can downward dog and use my hips instead of my ankles. You know what I'm saying?
Pilates too?
I've done Pilates once.
I hate Pilates, bro. It's too much.
I don't really see what's happening there.
Like, it also seems like I'm also on the verge of like breaking an ankle or something when I do that because they have that machine and then they have those really thin bars. They're like, all right, put your ankle on the back bar and sprout, whatever it is, sprout forward. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, this is like I almost did
a pole dancing class. That would have been cool, but it just didn't work out with my schedule.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying new things.
So speaking about trying new things in your new schedule, talk to us a little bit about just, bro, what you've been doing the past 6 months. Shooting the shit right now. But
it's actually kind of the perfect 6-month window because when I left, it was like right as stand up was kind of returning. And I got into it. I started that mic I was doing. I run that just like a little bit of consistency on that weekly basis. Produced a show, may come back, ask me anything. That was great. Been doing spots at Broadway, at Greenwich, all over the city. And I feel like probably in October, that was probably the first time I was like, oh, I got a little bit of that rhythm back. It's crazy. All that time away where I was like, wow, all right, I feel like I'm myself on stage. New bits, things changed. Listen, I had to quit the gambling to be able to really do it. Now I'm a couple months away from it. Really activated a little bit more of that portion of my brain that wasn't being creative, wasn't being funny.
A couple months away from what?
From gambling.
Okay.
And it's pushed me forward creatively. So it's more than anything like a mindset shift in terms of what I'm prioritizing, what I'm focusing on. Like a lot, you come back to stage with old jokes and you're a different person. Like it just is what it is. We took a long time away, And recently I felt like I'm actually back in my rhythm. I'm back doing it, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
because I remember kind of around the time that it was like 6 months ago, we first did that show over at Asylum.
Yeah, and
then but from that point, it was kind of like, all right, well, people are back at like 75% capacity inside, but also a lot of other places are still not open, still not doing comedy, or people are in there with their K95 duck-looking masks, stuff like that. Yeah. So I think like. Just in general, the city probably started to get back to it, and end of June, early July is. But I mean, it takes a lot just to get the rhythm back. If you're not doing it for an extended period of time. You've
been hosting all of these shows, right?
The Ted Jones comedy shows.
Yeah, you've been hosting them.
Yeah, man. So it's been great. So I'll do anywhere from initially when we had like more comics on the show, like 8 to 10, I was probably doing like 8 minutes up top, but now. We have like 5 to 6 comics, so I'm doing like anywhere from probably like 10 to 13 minutes on the top, and then all the comics are doing around 10 minutes, something like that.
Good. 10 minutes, that's good. Fewer comics, when you get like 8 people up there, whatever. I mean, even if it's 8 comics you love, it's better to let people that can do a good 10.
Yeah.
Let them rip.
It's tough to kind of like grasp like a handle of like, oh, I really like this person, especially if you're like a crowd member, if they're only doing like 7 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, man. I saw you're also you were opening for Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah Burner. So she was on the podcast. Bro, the thing is, even when you were on the pod, bro, I was like always struggling with episode numbers. You know what I mean?
We're 190 deep. Good luck finding the right one.
So I believe Hannah was on like 151 or 152. So so Hannah was on the pod, and then. This past weekend, I went to Bridgeport, and that was super fun. Opened for her, hosted the show. So did like 10 minutes up top, brought the next comic on, and came on, did like 2 minutes, brought the next comic after that, and did 2 minutes, and then brought Hannah on, and then she killed it for like 45 minutes. Which is amazing, dude. She kills it. Like, I told her, I was like, you have successfully made it from reality TV to like switching careers completely.
Yeah.
Like, only Cardi B and her
she was
have
reality
really done that.
I didn't know she was reality TV. Bro.
She was on a reality TV show.
I thought she was just social media.
Quit for the most part. I mean, people will say that she got kicked off, but I believe she
What show was it?
Summer House.
Okay.
So she really transferred well. Like I've told her this, like her and Cardi B right now have been the two successful from reality to like actual being legit.
That's what's up. I mean,
she's great. She's very funny.
I watched your clip. I watched you talk about can people see my dick right now?
Oh yeah, can you see my dick right now? Are we good?
Not as well as I could have in that clip. So,
dude, the thing was like before I went on stage, I was like, bro, I literally feel like my dick is out. Like I can see the imprint on my dick, so like I have to say something.
You ever just drop it over the boxers accidentally? So there's really just one
so
there.
There's actually just like you can see shroom tip. No, dude. The thing was like I knew I had to say something. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, just let it rip. Because obviously people are going to mention it. You see that guy's dick? It must have been cold in there. So I said exactly that.
You're saying you weren't properly represented.
I mean, bro, I wasn't.
Saying?
No.
Is that what you're talking
about? I wasn't like 3/4 chubbed, like mid set.
Yeah.
Unless I was talking about like a porn joke, and then I got really into my mind.
Hey, you're like a method comic.
Okay. Yeah, method comic. I'm like, yeah, I'm juiced up, ready to go.
How do you feel over like the last several months since basically, since you started producing this show and getting that stage time? How do you feel you've grown as a comic?
Bro, exponentially, I feel. Awesome. And it's 6 months is a lot of time when you, I think, really try at something.
Totally.
And I'll say that like 6 months can go by and like you feel like you haven't done shit the past. Oh yeah, dude, crack that. And it feels like sometimes you haven't done shit the past 6 months. Like, dude, I've had years where I can track my 6 months and be like, what the fuck have I done in 6 months? You know, totally. As you know, I worked at my dad's company for 5 years, so. Yeah. I mean, maybe incrementally every year, I was like, "Oh
preserving
yeah,
the family legacy."
Yeah, I learned a little bit here, but like, can't see full growth in something when you're not
wearing
kind of doing it
gray
yourself.
Sweatpants.
Yeah, or wearing gray sweatpants, or just wearing merch. You know.
Yeah.
So I do feel like the past 7 months have been great. I've been having a fun time. And dude, I also like doing it. Like I'm not gonna stop doing it. You know,
that's
like,
great.
That's what's also.
I mean, that's
like
everything.
A beautiful thing right now, where I'm like. Yeah, like if people are like, oh yeah, well if you want, you can go back to your dad's company. Like, dude, no. That's like if somebody is moving from, I don't know, Montana. No offense to Montana or whatever, to like New York. Like, bro, Montana. you're not gonna move back to Montana.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I mean, that's just an aggressive move to go back. I feel like. I mean, maybe you will, but I'm just saying I don't look to do that ever.
I understand. I'm a little offended for your dad's sake that his company is Montana. I'm also offended for your mom's sake that I called it for your dad's sake. But, you know, it's a good biz. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you love it, I mean, that's everything. That you cuz you know, you got to do this forever.
Yeah.
So you better be able to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, dude.
You look very comfortable on stage. That's something
man.
I noticed. Very likable guy.
Okay,
you know?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Especially since you're hosting, it's like, all right, we trust this guy. All right, he seems like he's gonna have fun. He's like hosting, like a party. You know,
sure.
That's like a big deal when you're hosting something. It's like, yeah. No, I trust this guy. I'm comfortable with him. Let him lead me through this experience.
Right.
You know. So yeah, I think that works well in your favor.
So tell me a little bit. I mean, how you started the mic, and then also you're getting on these shows, and then also, I mean, the past, like, what is it? Maybe been like 6 to 8 weeks since you are maybe experiencing a whole new life journey.
Very more recent than that, couple weeks. All right, so
elaborate.
Yeah, so I mean, I started the mic just to kind of recapture like a little bit. Here's the thing: there's always mics to go to. I mean, fewer than there used to be. That's for sure.
But also, man, a mic vibe is also good, and you have a really good mic vibe. Like, to be honest, at this point, I feel like I wouldn't maybe venture to a lot of mics besides like if I was like comfortable with the vibe, like a mic that you have. I don't know if you want to plug it, but you do have a lot of people every week bugging you about it. So
yeah, I mean, if you come, I mean, I drop the list. It's I'm Peter Moran on Instagram. Drop the list. We do it every Monday night. Give the money back. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a couple weeks off at the end of this year, but yeah, it's been good for a while. We had some good energy. Good people come. I'll say this about it. We had to switch it to ladies choose their spot. It was getting a little incel-y over there. I mean, that's the nature of comedy. We got a lot of dudes. A lot of dudes.
I saw you did that.
I mean, comedy is a lot of dudes.
Shift, though.
It's good. We get some women in there, and then you can actually. I mean, it's still comics. It's difficult to get a great read on material at an open mic in front of just comics.
Sure.
But it's nice when you have men and women there. And because if it's all dudes, you can just be like, don't we love jerking off? And someone gets a laugh and it's like, all right, see? That's... You gotta have women in open mic. This is why.
And like, dude, I'd be in the crowd crying about that too. Like, dude, look at me. I'd just be in the back fucking dying.
You can lose yourself. You can just become a locker room.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, bro. And also sometimes, you know, if you're in the audience, you go up there. Like, dude, I remember one time I wore a Ted Jones World shirt.
Yeah.
To the open mic, bro, and I was getting so much shit from all the bros. I was like, guys, come on. I'm just like, this is what I do. And then it's just like, you know, you do have to have that mix. So explain what you mean by ladies pick, though, because it's maybe some people don't understand.
I mean, so you normally run it just like people dump their name in a hat. I pick it off. Coming up after me, it's going to be Ted Jones. And with the gals, at least the first 5 that show up, we go, I want to go third, you go third. Your bit's your choice. And now we get some women. We actually have to like tell jokes instead of just be like, I hate women.
You know, people, I've definitely, you know, plugged your open mic before here on the podcast because people have asked me, you know, where's a good open mic to go? So guys, I mean, this is the guy to go to at I'm Peter Moran. And you know, you click that link there, check out that open mic. But honestly, great vibe, dude. So like, it's great, low stakes. What is it? It's $3 for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, and we give the money away at the end.
Yeah,
it's cool.
So, like, you could win $50.
Yeah, and we did first iteration has already occurred. Second, we're in the works, but Ask Me Anything comedy show. That's another one we've been doing, and this is different because we'll toss on a bunch of comics that are super funny, 5-6 people only, and then we'll all go up afterwards and we'll let the crowd like talk to us afterwards. Nice. So we get a little podcast type action after we riff around. They'll ask us some questions. Broke like the ice between comics and performers during that period of time. We all just messed around. It was super funny. Everyone kind of hangs out at the bar, gets drinks afterwards, and like we're one.
And that's in the Lower East Side too, or East?
That was in the Lower East Side. We might be switching locations, but nice. Ask Me Anything comedy show. It's on Instagram. We'll be back. Dude.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you're getting a nice little social group from it, and I feel like I am too. Just like the more you hang out and like go out and stuff. That's why also I haven't been as much waking up as early as maybe I used to before the shows and stuff like that.
You have to like
balance.
You have to balance. I mean, the thing about comedy that sucks is there's a lot of other people there, and usually I hate them. I mean,
yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
The great thing about producing shows is you book people that you think are funny and that you like and that you want to be around. That's great, and that's a good hang is when it's your show and you said, "Hey, come through. These people I want to talk to." That's great. You have to have some flexibility for that even with your workout routine to do that. The rest of the time, it's like, oh, am I going to try to like riff with these people I hate whose bits I don't respect?
Yeah.
No offense to pretty much everyone I've ever met in comedy.
What are you going to start a podcast with any of your girls or what? You are like a ladies' man, bro. You get along very well with ladies.
I like that definition of ladies' man. It's very accurate. Like ladies' man in that pretty much all my friends are women.
Sure. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just go get late. I mean, that can mean that way too. But
it could. Yeah. I mean, I'm over the boys. I don't know what it was. Sure. I don't know if it was too much time in the locker rooms. I don't know if it was my incel open mic. I don't know what it was, but yeah, mostly about the gals these days. Podcast. I don't want to plug anything that isn't official, but
well, what do you mean? What do you even have to plug?
Podcast. I'm saying conversations are occurring. Okay,
I didn't even know. I dug into the vegan chocolate bag and picked out something.
Yeah. Conversations are occurring. Okay. Stuff has been recorded, deleted, edited, re-recorded, etc. Things may come. But yeah, I'm in terms of what I'm focusing on right now. I'm branching out a tiny bit. We're doing comedy. It's all about that. Get on stage, get better, come back, hate your set, go back, be even better. Realize, hey, the only reason I thought I was good is because everyone else sucks. Get better. Mm-hmm. Get to people that you kind of respect, try to get better than them, and so on and so on. That's where we're at with that. But aside from that, I'm trying to really like be a classic New York angry at the world writer, Okay. So we're doing a little bit of short fiction, a little bit of satire.
In terms of writing, like what, like
long form, like prose.
Okay.
Like actual like
skits and stuff.
No, like fiction. Like read it on a paper. Okay. That type of stuff. Doing that, and then I mean, all the social media stuff. Per usual, writing scripts as well, but I'm going a little bit broader in the creative world now.
That's great. Good.
Yeah.
Branching.
Yeah.
Out. That's how. I mean, the way I feel like I even got into stand-up comedy. Well, I mean, I've been hanging around it for a very long time, for years. But I mean, I started with improv.
Yeah.
And then right before the pandemic, or as the pandemic happened, UCB, where I took classes for like 4 years, shut down. So it was kind of like. The only thing that was really going to be coming back to New York, like for sure, was stand-up. And like they don't have improv in, 100 different bars here in the city. Like they have stand-up in like 100 different bars in the city. So it's kind of like, all right, well, I got to kind of branch out and figure out other shit to do where I'm on stage, speaking my mind, doing shit that I kind of want to do, So it's just like, okay, branching out, like, how do I do that? Maybe I'll do that and that'll lead to something I want to do, or do that or whatever it is, whether it was just like picking up the freaking vlog cam and starting filming you in like episode 3 behind the scenes here, just kind of branching out, doing shit, trying to do as much as I can that made me happy and like kept me super freaking busy.
I mean, made you happy, kept you busy.
Yeah.
End of the game. Honestly.
Well, yeah. I mean, that you got to get the money part too, but I mean, that comes with making you happy and keeping you busy, I think.
Yeah.
Or I've heard from enough motherfucking people that say that, and then eventually,
You got to be patient about the money, and the only way to be patient is if you enjoy it. So do whatever makes you happy for sure. But like, listen, I mean, I want to quit comedy like a few times a week. I'm like, should I just wrap it up? Like, you start thinking long term.
Bro, you're young. Aren't you like 27, 28?
27, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not going to, but I have enough common sense to want to.
Sure.
So you got to come back, and then you go through this little loop. You're like, oh, well, I thought that killed. It wasn't that great. This needs to be better. Oh, God, I got to write a new bit. I should just quit. I don't need to do this. This is embarrassing. Why am I doing this? I hate everyone. And they're like, no. I hate everyone. I need to be better than them. And then you go back and you do it out of vengeance. And then you connect with an audience, and then you're great. And you're like, oh, no, I love this. And then you don't, and you're like, oh, I should quit. And then you restart the cycle.
You know what's also an interesting thing, man? Like, a year from now is going to happen regardless.
It's coming.
So the thing is, like, if you can see yourself in a year, would you want to look back a year and be like, fuck, why did I quit? Like, a year is already here. Or you'll be there and be like, okay, maybe it's working now, maybe it's not. But, okay, like, you want to... I'd say just in general, thinking about how time is going to pass regardless.
It's passing.
Yeah. So you're either going to be doing something you love in a year or, I mean, you're not. So I guess that's kind of a simple way to think of it.
I know.
How much it sucks, whatever,
It's because you don't want to be passive of just like, well, if I just like am loosely involved in stand-up comedy by osmosis or just passage of time, I'll improve, I'll get there. You have to set like goals and accomplish them and move forward. But with something
and that just makes you happy too,
Yeah, and there's something is like it's a very long-term thing. It's a very difficult thing to grow out. Like growth comes very fast at first, but then at each point it's like, all right, well, this is my standard for a bit. So it's a little harder to find bits at that level. And now this is my standard. So there's even fewer there. And now this is my standard. And that's how you grow and that's how you get better. But at each point, it's even more difficult. You get better, but it's more difficult because your standard is higher. And you're like, well, just surviving an open mic isn't good enough. All right, well, being on a show isn't good enough. Well, being good on a show isn't good enough. I need to kill every time. Even if it's a bad room, I need to kill, et cetera, et cetera. And these are levels that some of which I've yet to get to. Sure. And it's like, all right, you need to be constantly frustrated, but that is what's pushing you. That's what's like, all right, that is, I would say, if you're talking about like the significance of the last 6 months and more importantly, the last few months since I like had more of a sole focus on stand up after quitting playing poker and being like, this is my out in life. This is my opportunity to be a real human being that like does things he loves. Is allowing myself to be focused on it enough to get really frustrated with myself and really push myself and be like, this isn't good enough all the time. Not enough to like dwell on it and be angry permanently, but like just holding a higher standard and allowing yourself to sit in the pain of like, yeah, but I could be better. Yeah, but this isn't good enough. No, I should have killed, or like that it just wasn't good enough all the time. And that pushing you to like write something better, write something funnier. It's frustrating, but like I like that chase,
it's also funny, like I really don't know if you can feel this particular way at a job that like you're not fully responsible for, where you can be replaced, like, I mean, you wouldn't, if you know that you can be fired at any given moment, like why would you have this kind of passion for it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tough when when you're not the captain of the ship or whatever per se. It would seem to be tough to give a enormous shit unless you're making commissions or something like that, and your job depends on you selling something.
Right.
If you're just kind of you kind of don't have like a full trajectory of something, it's got to be tough, man.
Well, as someone who
was tough
at one point
did it for 5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And you too.
Well, I sold stuff for 1 year, and by sold stuff, I mean failed to. 0 commissions earned. But even in that, was there like a huge fire under me? Not really. But
dude, you're getting a paycheck at the end of the week regardless.
You're still surviving. Getting fired. Yeah, I mean, so I actually did quit my job recently. I'm back into the corporate world shortly. New job, same deal. But there's something very real. The only thing that's like incentivizing me is money, and not even like more. Just like, well, I can't live in New York and live this lifestyle of chasing this unless I actually have a job and something's paying the bills. I can't be patient to really get as good as I want to get unless I'm taking care of that. So it's all, it's like the support beams in the structure that is my life. These aren't the it's not the focus, it's not the centerpiece, but it's something that needs to be done along that road.
Sure, dude.
But yeah, I mean, when we used to do this, comedy was like something we were aware of, something like we did, something that was like theoretically a part of us, and now it's like actually we're out there, we're performing, we're in the life, and it's a very different ballgame when you're in that, and you have to like feel the highs and lows on a very consistent basis.
Every day, yeah.
Yeah.
And, even with the putting shit together, I mean, I'm sure you write 5 pages in a script and then you're like, nah, that shit is ass.
Garbage.
Take it out, done, whatever. I mean, uploading a video, oh, it didn't upload right. Oh, I didn't edit this part out. Fuck, it's another 2 hours of work or whatever it is. But as long as it's kind of your shit that you're fucking up in, it's easier to put your head down and just fix it.
Yeah.
Like if I fucked up an Excel spreadsheet at my dad's company and he was like, what the fuck is this? No, it's completely different. I'd be like, fuck.
That wasn't
pissed. Me. You know what I mean? Like I would not be fired up to have to redo that again. But if I know that like the video is going to be better or something like that, there'll be more traction because I made it better, then I'd be more pumped to do it.
Yeah. No, ownership. That's everything. Like, How bad has it gotten over the last 6 months? Have you had any like desperate moments? Have you had any like like a horrible show or a horrible set or a like despairing moment?
Sure. I mean,
you're in this.
Yeah. I mean, maybe turnout or maybe views or maybe fucking likes, dude. But besides that, like,
for sure,
I know that. I mean, I just quit my job kind of like 6.5 months ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, in my opinion, I feel like I've just kept one foot in front of the other. Like obviously I've been like fuck or I've been like shit. But like at the same time, dude, like I know a year from now is gonna come. I know 2 years from now is gonna come. I know 3 years from now is gonna come. And if it doesn't, then I'll be fucking dead. And if I'm dead, then whatever. But if I'm alive in 3 years, I want to be doing this. I want to be doing this, bro.
Hell yeah.
So the thing is, like, I made a few $1,000 in crypto.
Nice.
So that for the most part has got me sailing for the past 7 months or so, but keeping costs down. You see me, I eat fucking chickpeas and beans out of the can. Yeah. Put hot sauce on it if I'm lucky one day, but right now we don't have hot sauce. So I for the most part, I'm just day in and day out. Yes, some shit sucks sometimes, but like it doesn't suck as somebody else yelling at me, telling me what to do, dude. So I think like that's where I'm at, like could this podcast be better than the Joe Rogan experience? I would hope so. As of right now, I mean, it's
as
not
of this episode, people are saying,
yeah, dude. Actually, you're right. This one fucking fired it up. Close to 200 episodes, but also how many episodes did that guy do?
I think
he was hot.
Yeah, I think it was actually number 200. I think that's the cutoff. If you're not number one by 200, that's when they say.
Yeah, man. Also, we got this new art piece here, bro.
That's true. I like this. This is a good touch.
Yeah.
Do you do this?
Yes, of
nice.
course. I hired an artist. Yeah,
so
I did it.
But it's still Ted Jones' world, even though we don't have a map of said world.
Sure.
It's still the TJ Dubs.
It's still the figurative globe.
You got some merch too.
Yes.
Obviously, we had the hats before, but you got the Ted Jones comedy show.
Yes.
What else are you?
If you'd like one, you can absolutely have one. I have an XL.
I would get in there.
Okay, cool. I'll give you one after this episode. But we have sweatshirts with just the white Ted Jones World. Then
nice.
Like the gym kind of tees that just say Ted Jones World. But right now, I mean, the merch is not on sale unless somebody like DMs me and is like, "Yo, can I get some merch?" Then maybe I would sell it.
I kind of like that.
I throw it out at every show.
You throw some?
Yeah, dude.
You get a cannon?
Yeah, my arm, dude. Dude, so we'll throw out like 2 of these, or we need you, man. You're the pitcher, bro.
Hey, I'll let it rip, baby.
Yeah, dude. So we hand out. Give out at least 2. I mean, we're giving out way more. But also, it just depends on turnout, Yeah. So it varies. I mean, so when we have a show on a Monday, if we have a show on a Friday night, something like that, it obviously varies. But ideally, I think it's just becoming more comfortable and being able to kind of do different bits, every 2 weeks or something like that. But yeah, as a comic, and as I've spoken with comics before, like, you'll have the same bit sometimes for a couple years. I mean, if it really bangs, you know what I mean?
People drop their first album 7-8 years in doing something they wrote the first year in comedy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting. Yeah, to say that.
It's a really really long thing. I think my oldest bit, it has evolved, but I still do one joke that was like one of the first things I ever wrote. Now, 3 years in. It's obviously not 7 or 8, but yeah, I mean, stuff sticks around. You don't got to get rid of it unless unless you don't like it. Unless you should only get rid of it if you've outdone it, not just because it served its time.
Now, let me ask you this. If you were to be on stage and someone's like, all right, do as long as you're comfortable doing, where do you think you're at right now?
I think I would do well for 15 to 18 minutes. I think if I went beyond that, it would be I'm doing bits that I don't really like to do anymore. Okay. 15 to 18, it's like, all right, we're doing strong jokes here. Yes. Beyond that, yeah, I'm doing stuff that would otherwise have been retired.
So I think for the most part in comedy, I mean, you tell me kind of what you think, but I think it's that first 5, that open mic 5 minutes. Yeah. Then you get to that 7 minutes, you're starting to peek your head around shows or whatever. 10 minutes, you're solid. You could do almost any show, and then to the 15 minutes, you're doing basically any show in the city if you have a solid 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I think the jump is probably from like the 15-minute to the 30-minute when you're maybe doing a special at Comedy Central, right. And then that 30-minute to like an hour where you can be touring, doing 40, 50 minutes, whatever it is. But yeah, I think like for the most part, as long as I am gaining, like anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute weekly, I'm happy.
Oh, I mean, if you're doing it at that pace, that's great. That's great.
Well, I think for the most part, like I always want to kind of just be comfortable with doing improv on stage, and I think that helps, like whether it's crowd work or being like, oh, somebody is wearing something funny that reminds me of something from middle school or some shit like that. Whoa.
Get it out, baby.
Seltzer with the bubbles, brother.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think that's also important, just being outside. And I spent a ton of time indoors, man, during the pandemic. You see a lot more shit when you're outside, not just hunkered down and wake up super early. While it is great to wake up super early, sometimes you got to stay out late.
You got to experience things.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
The longest set I ever did was 15 minutes, but it was fully clean, and it was at a synagogue, and there was no one under the age of 80 there.
Wow.
Also, I'm not Jewish.
Great practice, though.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Oh my God. What the fuck? What was it? Somebody's funeral? They're like, Peter, go do 15.
It was a Jewish comic that brought me in, and I didn't need to be Jewish, but he was like, yeah, it's a synagogue gig.
When was this, by the way?
This was like right before the pandemic. Like right before it happened.
How have we never talked about this?
I don't know.
That's pretty dope.
Go ahead. I've read the Bible. I finished the whole thing. I know they're more of an Old Testament gang. but I've read them all, 66 books, whatever. And so we, I made fun of them for being old, dropped some Methuselah jokes in there, etc. Made it pretty biblical, told them they were actually all going to hell because they killed the Messiah. People didn't like that. And that was within like the first minute and a half. Uh-huh. But then I did all my bits that weren't like someone did a bit before me that referenced Bumble, and that was completely lost on them.
Yes.
Even the term dating app probably would have been. I'm not kidding when I say everyone was 80 plus.
Yeah.
90% of the people were 80 plus. The rest were 60 plus.
Sure.
So, there were bits limited. It was also a synagogue, so it had to be fully clean. So this was me. That was reaching a little bit. Like if we're talking at that point, also that was 2 years ago. If we were doing 15 without any sexual references, any swearing in it, any modern technology.
What's fucking Mort. Hey, what's your name, dude? Mort Goldman? He's like, yes. That's about it.
Yeah. 6 people were like, yep. Yeah, that's me. That's me. You say Mort? Yep. Like, well, are you some sort of a Mort or something?
So
people loved it.
Have you done a lot recently where you're doing kind of that amount of time? See, the thing is, like, with that amount of time, 15 minutes, it's tough in New York City to find that kind of time.
Yeah, I don't do 15 in the city. I don't think I've ever. I do 10. I do 10, but
15 is like, it's tough in New York City because, each show has got at least 5, 6 comics on it. And then, like, in LA, maybe I'll see people do kind of 15 if they have, because the thing is, you're going far and people are maybe appreciate your time a little bit more, but like, still, it's hard as shit to do 15 minutes in the city if there's more than 5 people on it.
It's really about like you're right in getting like a first 5 to where you can like succeed at an open mic finally. That was like the first step in comedy.
Yeah.
But I think even beyond, even as you do shows and you do 10s and 15s and even like, maybe you're doing more than that. Maybe you're featuring. It's the 5 that just murders. That is everything. It's what new joke can make it into the 5. It's all about the 5 for so long because 5 is going to be the first late night. Obviously 5 clean, 7, 8 for like a Comedy Central short. Like any like big break set is going to be 5 to 8 minutes probably. So it's getting that absolutely murderous 5 to 8, which probably like you're not going to get this insane 5 to 8 and not have a good 20 or 25 at that point, if not more, obviously. But like in terms of moving forward and getting opportunities beyond like, yeah, I can be on your bar show. I have 8 minutes. It's like my focus 3 years in, more so than like, yeah, I could do 20 at the same capability I could do 15. It's even more so just like, can this 5 get even better? Which goes hand in hand, just writing funnier jokes, obviously. But yeah, I think that's always number one priority is, did this make it into the 5? Is this like in the set? If you give me 5 minutes, I'm going to come out swinging. I'm going to tear through this crowd. Yeah. Because that's the only, even you're new on a show, whatever, it's 5 to 8 minutes is the one opportunity you get to like leave a lasting impression on people. Like, this dude's funny.
Yeah. And I also think sometimes like, I mean, at least is at like the past 4 or 5 months, I think like, there is sometimes more to a particular joke that maybe you don't always have. You know, It's not always about just writing and new. Like maybe it's adding kind of newer parts to an old bit, something 100%. Like that. But yeah, it's always thinking about it. And just in general, I spent so much freaking time inside. It's crazy. And then like the last 7, 8 months, I've spent way more time being out and outside, you know, outside of the studio, outside of the apartment.
Yeah, so you living a life now? Good. Have you had?
Bro, no, still no chicks, dude. Still no chicks, man. But I think that's.
I thought they loved the body.
Like that's, huh?
I thought.
I mean, bro, but this is for freaking me, and if you want some, dog.
Oh, man.
But I mean, I sometimes get FOMO if I'm not like out and doing something comedy related. You know, like dinner is a big kind of thing to do. Hour and a half, some money that I maybe don't want to spend. Drinks, I don't drink. So I would go out to like coffee, but like I don't want to really go out to coffee really. So it's been just a lot of focus on around my new life, dude. That's internal.
Yeah, dude. Good to see some things haven't changed. I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, that's funny, man. Because like when we were talking 6 months ago, it's the same shit. I was like, dude, no, there are no girls around here. Dating apps are very dry. I rarely swipe on those anymore, man.
Good.
Not really sliding into DMs unless I'm like, come to the show.
Hey, I mean, I produced one show during that period of time, and like half of the people were people I'd hit up on apps to try to get to come through.
Sure, good.
It's definitely, you know.
That's also, man, when, you know, as I'm sure you know, when we're producing stuff, like, we cannot be shy about texting anyone to come. You know, like,
you got to put yourself out there.
I remember there have been a couple of shows where, no joke, I texted every single person in my phone book, like 1,500 people, dude. And like, you know, what are the percentages that came? I don't know, maybe 5 to 10% of people. That's still in terms of all time, whatever it is. But just in general, I think you got to be like really like, you cannot really give a fuck. You just kind of got to get out there, and the more people know you're doing something, I mean, the better chances are that maybe something will come of it, or they know, or maybe there'll be a customer in the future or some shit.
You got to stay present in people's minds. That's the world we live in. My DMs are 98% come to this show, or can I be on your mic? Nice. That's everything.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
There you go. How's that LaCroix? How do they get that flavor in there? And for 0 calories, right? It's pretty flavorful.
I got to say, yeah, it's like they took...
I can smell it.
It's like they took an apricot, ripped it open, closed a plastic bag, got rid of the apricot, and blew the bag into this.
Yeah.
Just calorie free. Yeah.
Air
it's like Febreze I'm sipping on.
It's interesting. So I got like a weird multi-pack of that. And like now it's really stenching up the apartment with all different flavors. It's crazy. Like vanilla, apricot, orange. And I don't know how they still have 0 calories in it. It's quite impressive.
I mean, they could just be lying to us. Imagine. You ever think about that? The FDA, like, you ever think about how, well, maybe not in your case, but how neglectful you are towards your job, and then you're like, well, same probably goes for like the lower level people at the FDA and every government agency and every doctor that's doing surgery on you
right now. Sure, dude. Have you seen Super Size Me 2, perchance? Have you?
No.
Okay, so you know Super Size Me 1, of course. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't know, Super Size Me 1 was with Morgan Spurlock. He ate McDonald's 3 times a day for 30 days, gained, I believe, probably like 45 pounds or something like that. So Super Size Me 2 he is going around to chicken farms and he's opening his own chicken restaurant, and he just dives into the chicken industry and how corrupt they are and how Big Chicken is literally 3 companies and they control like anybody who gets chicken.
Tyson?
Ever. Yeah. Tyson is one of them. Pilgrim is another. And then like some other land. Well, basically this entire thing is explained in Super Size Me 2 is on one of the fucking platforms. Sorry, guys.
Google it.
Yeah. All right, 1 second. I'm getting my phone. Dude, keep them interested while I get my phone.
I was telling them to Google it. But while you get your phone, I'll tell you this about pretty much every Tyson and every major corporation. You pretty much just, like, the name of the game right now is be horrible and cruel in all your practices.
Right now, bro. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Since the chicken industry even came to the entire mix, like, that's really what it's been. Go ahead.
That's fully what they do. And then, like, release some commercial that speaks to you doing something that is like hot button good. It's like, how people are super underpaid. They give like big bonuses to their employees. The big bonus, especially when you talk about like the overall, they paid out like 10 million or 50 million in bonuses to their employees. When you break it down on an individual basis, they're still massively underpaying people. It's still wage theft. Now, Tyson specifically, I saw them involved in like, how prices are insane right now, and all companies are like, oh, inflation, supply chain. And it's like the inflation is somewhat real, but you chose to mark it up. It's not like proportional. They just massively overcharge us for everything. You're like, sorry, inflation. It's like you're just taking a bigger profit. If you look at the companies, I mean, this is me just like reporting news that someone put together in a more eloquent way. But
that's what a podcast is.
But yeah, it's like companies are like 180% up in profits and are like, well, it's inflation, so we need to charge you actually $18 for a cup of coffee now.
So basically, Morgan Spurlock went around. He went to like countries in the deep south, wherever, and he ended up opening his restaurant in Ohio, but he was in like Alabama, Kentucky, West Virginia, whatever, just looking for a chicken coop and like a very transparent form of killing the chickens and then eating them and keeping them on a sandwich, whatever it is. So the 4 companies actually that were referred to in the documentary was Tyson Foods, Sanderson Farms, Koch Foods, or Koch, like the Koch brothers.
And so automatically horrible.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, the Koch brothers, at least, I mean, they were twins. Who grew up in New York or something like that. One of the bridges is named after like the Koch bridge, something like that.
They're billionaires. They're like some of the worst people.
Anyway, both of them have like $50 billion. One of them died, so I imagine the thing is, when you have $50 billion, you can really control a narrative in a specific business, which has happened here. And killing animal business for food has been corrupt ever since, you kind of just stretch the rules each time. They talk about like free range, cage free. Like free range chicken, you only need like 1 square foot next to the kill house or whatever it is. I don't know what they call it, dude. Chicken coop.
Kill house is more pertinent. It's more the point.
You need like a square foot of sunlight for them to be considered free range. Cage free, you can have 1 million chickens in 500 square feet, stuff like that.
My takeaway from this and from life is that every good intentions movement will be taken for profit by horrible, rich, evil people. Like, you giving chickens a better life, who could argue with like, let's free range this? And like, oh, now here are the rules that we have to play with. Let's manipulate the situation as best we can to up our profit, to take advantage of things, to manipulate consumers into thinking they're doing something remotely good. With zero of that is going toward, let's give these chickens better lives.
Yeah, labels have also, messed this up completely when it's like, fresh, organic, cage-free, homegrown, shit like that. It's labels on stuff. But the vegan industry, honestly, I'm not even saying in a biased opinion right now. I feel like just because it's the beginning of it, it seems like there could be a lot of good people involved. But we'll see, man.
I think so. I think there's probably a lot of good intentions, and I'm positive that extremely rich people will take it to their advantage as best as they possibly can, with zero regard for humanity or animality.
It's vegan, though, dude. Being vegan is good for humanity.
Oh, I agree with that. I'm just saying, within the context of that rules,
you think whether it will monopolize the vegan industry in the way that Big Chicken is monopolized, maybe.
or whatever they can do to take advantage of the situation, even if they're doing harm to a different group within that, like it's viewed at it's viewed purely from a perspective of like, how can I profit off this? Yeah. And if knowing that from a marketing perspective, this is like, you're doing a good thing by consuming our products, that'll be done. But like, there's no actual sincerity behind that.
Sure.
But by happenstance, it may actually be a good thing. Veganism in itself, you can't really argue with that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the bad guys will show up. They'll come knocking.
Yeah. I'm fairly confident in you saying that I believe that.
Yeah.
This has been an amazing episode, guys. Did you miss freaking Peter Moran or what, dude?
Did.
The convo was flowing today. Probably no cuts unless we say the. Just kidding.
Yeah, no cuts.
Yeah, no cuts here. Clean episode. So what else is up, man? Today being Friday, what you got on tap for today, bro?
I am going to do comedy.
Yes.
Early afternoon, late evening type comedy. Probably start. I read a quote from F. Scott Fitzgerald recently. It says, "First you take a drink, then you take another drink, then the drink takes you." And that's what I think is going to happen
on tap
tonight.
For tonight.
Yeah.
All right, great. I left my freaking wallet at the stand, so I'm going to go over there later today, shoot a promo video, but get 2 in 1 done. And I need to figure out the pocket situation, man. Sometimes I have too many pockets to know what to deal with. If I wear a double sweatshirt with like the pouch, so I'll have the pouch underneath and then a pouch on top of that. And then I wear the jacket. I got the inner breast pocket and pockets on the sides. So.
You should be a fanny pack guy.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah,
I literally have a fanny pack, but I only do it like when I'm jogging. But yeah, you're right. I had one the other day when we were filming a vlog. I had it on like my back butt.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It'll be good luck.
Cool. Peter Moran, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, follow this guy on Instagram. DM him. He's a freaking looker. He's single still.
Yeah.
All right, so ladies, go after this guy, all right?
Yeah, go after this guy.
See you guys soon. Peace.